Alright, so we got the 426 spoilers, and before we get into it, let me just quickly point out for anyone who's unaware, but we only have 5 chapters left in this series. Yep, it was announced by the creator Horikoshi a couple days ago, and I think it means like 5 chapters from this point on, considering that I think the date for the final chapter is August 5th. I'll talk more about this in my review, which will probably be out tomorrow, but let's get into it. So the chapter begins with the entire family reunited. Rei has serious burns on her face. Fuyumi has a few, and Natsuo got a haircut, and Enji is all bandaged up. Fuyumi says that Shoto didn't have to come, and Rei says that none of the kids did, and Enji says that Rei didn't either. So yeah, the title of this chapter is the Hellish Todoroki Family Final, so this is like, I guess, wrapping up the Todoroki family storyline, and also coming off of the end of the previous chapter, we saw Endeavor sitting in front of like this tank, which presumably was holding Dabi. Shoto says that he has come to fulfill his mission, and that the same goes for the rest of the family. Enji says that since before the war, he had been planning to talk to Toya, but now in the state that he's in, he can't get around on his own. The hero Endeavor burned to death. Toya replies, "Oh really? My condolences. Giving me all your attention after everything's over is easy, you coward." Enji agrees and says that Toya understands him very well. After all, he's been watching him this whole time and wanted his father to do the same. During this conversation, we see several flashbacks of Toya. Although Deku said that Dabi isn't the Endeavor, Enji says that this doesn't change the fact that his son's flames come from Hellflame. He's been watching Toya's reveal video every day. So let's talk every day from now on. I know it took me too long, but I want to talk to you. In this panel, Endeavor is drawn without the bandages, and Dabi is drawn like young Toya, but still with the Dabi scars, and we hear the sound of Toya's heartbeat measure device. So yeah, I guess this is like the final heart-to-heart between Endeavor and Dabi / Toya here. Now that they've all kind of fought to the death, more or less, and I guess Dabi coming very close to death, I guess that's what we're going to be getting into here. He's finally having his character arc, I suppose. You can hate me all you want. Say it all to me. Fuyumi and Rei also say that they want to talk to him about many things, but the employee from the facility says that they should stop for today so as not to burden his heart too much. And Shoto says, "Can I ask him just one thing?" But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Hofsco, because I just picked up their Hov Alpha 26-inch electric fat tire bike, and this thing is absolutely incredible. It's probably my favorite possession. Just looking at it, it's incredibly aesthetic, but it also has a 1300 watt motor with a high capacity integrated battery that gives you a range of up to 80 miles per charge. It also has a max speed of 28 miles per hour, as well as a 450-pound payload capacity, along with an intuitive LCD digital panel, front suspension, hydraulic disc brakes, a Shimano 7-speed shifter, a headlight and a tail light, as well as a solid aluminum crankset. It also has this really cool thumb throttle that allows you to just cruise without having to pedal. Like I said, this thing is incredible. I feel so safe on the road with it, and it's so powerful. It easily blasts through hills and incline and goes through rough terrain and the forest like it's nothing. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted to get it, because it's kind of difficult to go through trails and unpaved roads with traditional bikes. I also don't own a car, considering that I live downtown in the city. I don't have to deal with like car insurance and parking and mechanics and any of that stuff. I just get around no problem with this bad boy. Also, now's the best time to pick up your Hofsco electric bike because they're running their Independence Day sale from today, June 27th to July 4th, where if you get the Hov Alpha, you'll get an extra battery for free that's worth $499. Or if you pick up their Hov cart, you'll get 3 accessories for free worth $377. So guys, check the link in the description and make sure you use code BIGZ for $100 off. Thank you guys. What's your favorite food? He remains silent and everyone starts to leave, but Toya then replies soba. Shoto says same, and Toya starts crying and calling his brother's name as he remembers their fight, and Shoto saying that their paths will cross even if by force. Shoto, I'm sorry. Wow, that's pretty big, actually. I didn't think that we'd get to this point. I mean, I assumed that Toya / Dabi had to have some kind of retribution or character arc coming into the ending of the series, especially after we saw that he survived everything and is now in this chamber barrier thing, also looking pretty crazy right now. He doesn't resemble, you know, his former self at all. He almost looks like something from Evangelion, like an Eva robot or something. And we see that this thing is like monitoring his heartbeat. And also the employee at this hospital facility place saying that, you know, they should stop for today, not to burden his heart too much. So he can only do so much. I'm not sure if he is going to die, like, you know, by the end of the series, like the final chapter, but this might be like his fate. He's like resigned to this iron chamber thing, and then Endeavor's kind of redemption to him, and him righting his wrongs and never acknowledging Toya enough as a kid. Maybe he just comes to visit him every day, possibly. And also this comes full circle with Toya trying to right his wrongs to Shoto by actually saying, "I'm sorry," which is wild. Also, Rukasu points out that he didn't receive pages 2 and 3, but apparently it's just the doctor saying that Dabi is slowly heading to his death, and Enji telling him that he's retiring. So yeah, I mean, I guess Dabi will eventually die, but I don't know if we're going to see that in the series. It's possible, but also Endeavor retiring here, which is understandable. He was seriously maimed in that fight against All For One. After leaving the facility, Natsu says that he's not going to meet Enji anymore. He's going to marry his girlfriend, but they won't have a ceremony, and he has no intention of introducing her to his father. Enji says that he completely understands and apologizes once again. Wow, so that's how that ends. Natsuo just cuts off Endeavor from his life, and he's just like, yeah, peace. I can't make amends with you, and I don't even want you in my life, regardless of how much you redeem yourself. Fuyumi quits her job, but the mother of one of her students found her a new one. Natsu says that Enji has already taken responsibility and can stop now, but he says that he intends to pay and apologize for his crimes for the rest of his life. Enji says that his kids no longer need to be in contact with him, and that he will do everything he can to ensure that none of them suffer the consequence of the whole Dabi scandal, and that's why he survived the war. Natsu says that he's going to face hell, but Enji replies saying that's obvious. Since he accepted Toya's invitation today, she shows a text from Hawks. Hawks asked how the conversation with Toya went and says that if they have any, he says he wanted her help, and Nagant says that they have to see how society will respond to what Midoriya showed everyone that day. Nagant jokes that she'll be eating food funded by people's taxes for a while longer, and Hawks sticks his tongue out and calls her a villain. We see Gento and Labrava shouting each other's names as they cry, and the Gorilla Cops saying that their help has been officially recognized, so they're free now. Back to Hawks, and Ray answers the text saying that he must be busy as the new president of the Public Safety Commission. Whoa, so Gento and Labrava are just free now. We saw back in their arc, you know, they were doing their crime spree stuff so that they can get big on TikTok. And after they were arrested, it eventually got to the point of where, you know, UA needed their help, and Gento and Labrava were pivotal in that final sequence, with Gento bringing down UA with his quirk, and then Labrava doing her hacking stuff. So, I mean, I guess that's cool. They should be free, to be honest, and they should be heroes, which is what they wanted, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I think the best we're going to get here is that they're just free. And then Hawks is now the president of the Public Safety Commission. That's pretty interesting. Hawks asks himself how things will change from now on and calls Mera on the phone. In the last panel, we see Spinner unconscious in a hospital bed and the door to his room opening. Wow. Okay, so Spinner seemingly is alive, which is cool because I think he should have a somewhat dignified ending in this series. I mean, he's probably going to be locked up for life, most likely, but he should have like a better fate than Dabi. And who's opening the door? Could be Izuku, because, you know, the last time that Izuku talked to Shigaraki before he died, he basically said like, hey, tell Spinner I was a G till the end. So that could be Izuku relaying that message, or it could be that weird-looking villain-esque person we saw in the previous chapter, possibly. Not really sure, but I'll go more into this in my review for the full chapter tomorrow. But let me know what you think about this in the comments, and if you liked it, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.